When authority meets its match, they believed they were asserting their dominance, two officers pulling over a solitary driver eager to assert their authority. Little did they know, the woman behind the wheel was not just any driver. She was their newly appointed chief. This unexpected encounter was about to transform their lives and the entire police department of Crestwood. Sometimes the most profound changes come from the most unexpected moments. Elena Ramirez had always been a symbol of perseverance and strength. After years of dedication and overcoming numerous obstacles, today marked her first day as the chief of police in the bustling city of Crestwood. Her journey to this position was anything but easy, battling systemic biases and breaking through barriers that had long hindered women and minorities from reaching such heights in law enforcement. As Elena drove down the familiar streets leading into the heart of Crestwood, the morning sun cast a golden hue over the skyline, reflecting the promise of a new beginning. Her grip on the steering wheel tightened slightly, betraying the nerves she couldn't entirely conceal. This day was meant to celebrate her achievements, yet an underlying tension gnawed at her thoughts. Crestwood, despite its vibrant and diverse community, had a police department notorious for its conservative mindset and sporadic reports of biased policing. Elena was no stranger to these issues. She had meticulously reviewed the reports, listened to the community's concerns, and was acutely aware of the resistance within the force. Many officers had openly expressed their doubts and unease about her appointment, a Latina woman leading their ranks. But Elena was resolute. She had faced adversity before and was prepared to confront it head-on. Approaching a familiar traffic light about to turn red, Elena noticed the sudden flash of blue and red lights in her rearview mirror. A patrol car had pulled up behind her, sirens blaring. Her heart raced, not out of fear, but from a deep-seated intuition that this was no ordinary traffic stop. The patrol car came to a halt beside her, the grass crunching under the tires. Two officers emerged, Officer Mark Sullivan, a seasoned man in his early 50s with a stern expression, and Officer Ryan Miller, a younger, more approachable officer in his late 20s. Mark approached the driver's side with a measured stride, while Ryan lingered slightly behind, his demeanor skeptical. Elena rolled down her window, maintaining a calm exterior despite the escalating tension. Mark glanced over the documents Elena provided, his eyes lingering a moment too long before meeting hers again. "License and registration, please," he stated, his voice carrying an air of practiced authority. Elena complied silently, handing over the requested papers without a word. Ryan stepped forward, his tone more probing. "What brings you out here this early? This area isn't exactly known for being safe." A chill ran down Elena's spine, but she remained composed. "I'm on my way to work." Ryan leaned in closer, a smirk playing on his lips. "And where exactly is that?" For a split second, Elena considered revealing her true identity, putting an end to this uncomfortable encounter immediately. But she sensed the weight of the moment, understanding that this was about more than just her. She decided to hold back, choosing instead to let the situation unfold. "You'll find out soon enough," Elena replied evenly, locking eyes with Ryan. There was no trace of fear, only a quiet strength that seemed to unsettle the officers further. Mark, sensing the rising tension, intervened. "Let's not make this difficult, ma'am. We can take this further if needed." The subtle threat hung in the air, and Elena felt a surge of frustration. She had dealt with too many instances of disrespect and baseless assumptions to remain silent any longer. Taking a deep breath, she decided it was time to assert her authority. "That won't be necessary," she said firmly. "I'm Chief Elena Ramirez. I suggest you rethink how you're handling this situation." The revelation hit Mark and Ryan like a sudden storm. Mark's face paled, and Ryan's confident demeanor faltered as they processed the truth standing before them. "You're the chief?" Mark stammered, clearly taken aback. "Yes," Elena confirmed, her voice unwavering. "And I'd like to know why exactly I was stopped, and why this line of questioning is even happening." For a tense moment, neither officer spoke. Ryan fumbled for words, while Mark struggled to regain his composure. Elena took this opportunity to address the underlying issues head-on. This isn't a misunderstanding. You stop people like me without cause, make assumptions based on nothing but appearances, and try to assert your authority because you think you can get away with it. It's officers like you who make people distrust the system, and it's people like me who are here to change that. The gravity of her words settled over the officers. Mark opened his mouth to protest, but no words came out. He knew she was right. Elena's calm yet powerful presence left little room for argument. "You'll be reporting to me personally for the next few weeks," Elena continued. "I'll be reviewing every traffic stop you make, and I suggest you think long and hard about how you handle yourselves from now on." With that, Elena stepped back into her car, leaving the officers to grapple with the reality of their actions and the new leadership they would soon follow. As she drove away, a sense of accomplishment mixed with the anticipation of the challenges ahead washed over her. This was just the beginning of her mission to reform Crestwood's police force and restore trust within the community. Later that day, Elena convened a meeting with the entire department. The room was thick with tension as officers exchanged uneasy glances, aware of the recent events and the significant shift in leadership. "I'm not here to embarrass anyone," Elena began, her voice steady and commanding, "but I am here to make it clear that this kind of behavior stops now. Every officer in this department will be held accountable for how they treat the citizens of Crestwood, regardless of their race, gender, or background." A murmur of unease swept through the room, but Elena stood firm. She knew that change wouldn't come easily, but her resolve was unshakable. "This is your chance to prove that you are the kind of officers who serve with integrity. I will not tolerate bias, disrespect, or anyone who thinks they are above the law." As Elena outlined her vision for a more equitable and transparent police force, she could see the flicker of hope in some eyes and the lingering doubt in others. She addressed each concern with empathy and clarity, setting the tone for a new era in Crestwood. Over the following weeks, Elena worked tirelessly to implement her reforms. She introduced comprehensive training programs focused on diversity and bias reduction, encouraged open dialogue between officers and the community, and established accountability measures to ensure that misconduct would no longer be tolerated. One day, during a routine patrol, Officer Ryan Miller found himself in a situation eerily similar to the one Elena had faced. As he pulled over a driver late at night, he couldn't help but feel a pang of anxiety. The driver, a young woman with a determined look, handled the encounter with a calm confidence that mirrored Elena's own demeanor. "License and registration, please," Ryan requested, his voice wavering slightly. The woman complied, her eyes meeting his with an intensity that made him pause. "I'm Chief Elena Ramirez," she declared, her voice unwavering. Ryan's mouth fell open in disbelief. "Chief Ramirez? I didn't recognize you." Elena smiled gently. "This is part of my review process. I wanted to experience firsthand how our interactions are perceived by the community." Ryan nodded slowly, realizing the depth of his previous actions and the impact they had on those they served. "I understand, Chief. I'm sorry for how I handled that." Elena placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Acknowledging the problem is the first step towards meaningful change. Let's work together to ensure that every interaction is conducted with respect and fairness." As word of Elena's approach spread, Crestwood began to see a shift in both the police force and the community. Officers became more mindful of their actions, and residents felt more confident in the integrity of those sworn to protect them. Elena's leadership fostered an environment of mutual respect and collaboration, paving the way for a brighter, more just future. What do you think Elena will face next in her mission to transform Crestwood? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The transformation wasn't without its challenges. Some officers resisted the changes, clinging to old habits and attitudes. Elena addressed these obstacles with patience and persistence, understanding that true change required time and unwavering commitment. She fostered open forums where officers could voice their concerns and work through their resistance together, strengthening the bonds within the department. Community members, inspired by Elena's dedication, began to take a more active role in local initiatives. Neighborhood watch programs flourished, and partnerships between the police and residents became more robust. Trust, once fragile, started to solidify into a foundation of mutual understanding and cooperation. One evening, as Elena stood on the balcony of the police headquarters, watching the sun set over Crestwood, she reflected on the journey so far. The path to reform was long and fraught with obstacles, but the progress made was undeniable. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that her efforts were making a tangible difference in the lives of those around her. Have you ever witnessed or experienced a moment of change that left a lasting impact? Let us know your story in the comments. Elena's story was far from over. Each day brought new opportunities to strengthen the bond between the police force and the community, to address lingering issues, and to celebrate the victories, both big and small. Her leadership was a testament to the power of resilience, empathy, and unwavering commitment to justice. As Crestwood continued to evolve, Elena remained a steadfast pillar of strength and inspiration. Her journey inspired not only her fellow officers, but also the residents she vowed to protect, embodying the very essence of what it means to lead with integrity and compassion. What do you think the future holds for Elena and Crestwood? Drop your predictions below. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, leave a like with the number 2. If not, leave a 7. Don't forget to subscribe for more engaging tales from elderly wisdom. Your support keeps these stories alive and thriving.